Hi, my name is John, and I'm presenting with Melissa on our project selection of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, its failures, collapse, and reconstruction. So on May 9th, 1980, the south part of the Skyway Bridge sadly collapsed, leaving 35 people dead. It collapsed when a freighter called the MV Summit Venture collided with a support column or support beam, which dropped 1,200 feet of the bridge, basically collapsed the whole southern bound part of the bridge. It made that a really big issue. A major other component of what happened was the poor weather, winds, and the rain really made it so that the freighter couldn't see, and with lack of lighting, it just ran into one of the beams, which caused a critical failure. So on top of the freighter helmsman obviously running into the Skyway Bridge, there's also a lack of protection and lighting that could be blamed for part of the accident. Probably a better risk evaluation would have shown that it's faulty in the beams and the support beams specifically, seeing that if one got hit, then it would become a critical failure throughout the entire bridge, which obviously isn't something that's allowed and is a very, very big fault. At the very least, some precautions need to be taken, which just weren't, which is why the risk evaluation had failed. But even without evaluation, they could have done simple normal things to the bridge, just like adding lighting, like I said, and other signals that could have been in place for easier identification when it comes to poor weather and other things like that, just so the ships can see where the beams are and just to not run into them as easy. So this is also just a comparison from the old bridge to the new bridge. As you can see, there's definitely some different design changes. The beams that they went for also are much different. They look like they're more well structured and just more solid than the previous bridge. We'll also be going into some different design changes when it comes to the bridges and just how the new one is compared to this old one, which my partner Melissa will take over in explaining.
Thank you, John. This is Melissa continuing with the new versus the old Sunshine Skyway Bridge discussion. The original Sunshine Skyway Bridge was a truss bridge, as opposed to the suspension-style bridge of the new Sunshine Skyway Bridge, as can be seen in the diagrams below. The new Sunshine Skyway Bridge has a vertical clearance that is 28.9% taller than the old at 193 feet tall, a large channel clearance of 38.9% wider at 1,200 feet in the main span. New Skyway Bridge improvements. Due to the concerns with the failed safety of the old bridge and not to repeat, the new Skyway Bridge utilized newer technology and increased safety reviews. Engineers addressed the Florida DOT and USGOA, General Accounting Office, technical concerns that included the use of Florida limestone in the concrete mix for the bridge's foundations, the depth of the foundation piles, and the ability of the new bridge to withstand ship impact. Compared to the old bridge, the new bridge is designed to be much safer to withstand elements such as a hurricane or an earthquake, since it has shear link beams that can bend and even break to absorb and shock to the bridge. The new design also has hinge pipe beams which allow the road to be flexible if any shock meets the bridge. Skyway Bridge construction. Safety was an utmost importance during planning and construction. The project management team included not only the engineers, GAO, US, and Florida DOT, but also included engineers from the Army Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Reclamation, and National Bureau of Standards to assess construction specifications and overall succeeded in its construction because the original bridge's risk evaluations not being done well. Conclusion. The collapse of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge was an unfortunate accident that was created through bad circumstances and improper safety precautions. Proper lighting of the beams and risk assessment of beam support could have been factors initiated to prevent such an accident. With the old gone, safety advantages come with reconstruction, which is much better beam support, flexibility, and easy showing of beam locations. Although the project managers initially succeeded in creation of the original bridge and finished the project, later failure of safety assessment would diminish the achievement. The safety of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge is important to a direct connection across the Tampa Bay, commute of many, and transportation of products, goods, and service vehicles.